Let's just return to the breaking news we brought you just a short time ago. That is that the Queen has postponed her Privy Council meeting this evening after being advised by doctors to rest. Our royal correspondent, Rhiannon Mills, joins us now on the phone. Good evening, Rhiannon. What else is the palace saying about this?
So it has to be said, it is unusual when it comes to the Queen's health for the palace to unnecessarily tell us things that they don't feel that they have to. But I think because we had anticipated that this Privy Council meeting was going to take place today, albeit virtually, they've decided that because it therefore wouldn't appear in the court circular tomorrow, they have had to tell us that the doctors up at Balmoral have told the Queen to rest. Now, of course, that comes after we saw the Queen yesterday for the first time in a number of weeks, as she very clearly told her advisors, told Number 10, that she still wanted to carry out that important transition of power between one Prime Minister and the next. And albeit she couldn't travel herself down to London, but all of the necessary arrangements were made so that her 14th Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, could travel up to Scotland to hand in his resignation, and then her 15th Prime Minister, Liz Truss, could then be appointed at Balmoral, of course, for the first time that has happened outside of London. Now, just to read to you the statement that we've had from the palace in full, it says that after a full day yesterday, Her Majesty has this afternoon accepted doctors' advice to rest. This means that the Privy Council meeting that had been due to take place this evening will be rearranged. Now, as we can anticipate, we've been in this situation before when there have been concerns about the Queen's health. The palace are not going to necessarily give us any more details. However, I do understand that the Queen is still at Balmoral, where we know that she's been enjoying her summer break, and there's no hospitals involved. She hasn't been transferred anywhere, so she is still very much at Balmoral Castle, where we know that she was very comfortable. She enjoys spending time there, and we know that certainly over the last few weeks she has had her family around her. In terms of this Privy Council meeting, what's it all about? Did it have to happen today? Well, in the past, it has been delayed after a Prime Minister has been appointed. In essence, what normally happens at that Privy Council meeting is that Liz Truss would take her formal oath as First Lord of the Treasury, and also new members of the Cabinet would also be given their seals of office. There would be, as they described, kissing of hands. That obviously wouldn't have happened because it was all going to happen virtually. But we're told in terms of the mechanisms of government, then the fact that this Privy Council meeting isn't happening this evening, that's not going to cause any problems. But I think, yeah, it is telling that the palace have felt that they have had to tell us once again that the Queen has been advised to rest by her doctors. And I think in essence, that's because otherwise alarm bells may have started ringing. People would have started asking questions if that Privy Council meeting had not appeared in the court circular.
Yeah, and Rhiannon, we are getting increasingly these announcements of meetings postponed or events cancelled. But I guess that is to be expected. The Queen is, after all, a woman of 96 years old.
Do you know what, Mark? I think certainly over the last 12 months, there has been what I would say a change in terms of what the Queen has been able to carry out. I was thinking back to 12 months ago, where I was told very clearly, 12 months ago, the Queen was looking forward to the autumn. It was the end of September. She was planting a tree with the Prince of Wales. She then opened the Scottish Parliament. She opened the Welsh Parliament. She carried out a big business summit at Windsor Castle. And then it was October last year, you might remember, that she was advised to cancel a trip to Northern Ireland. And it was only subsequently after that we found out that she'd been taken to hospital to have some tests. We were told that we shouldn't be overly concerned about that. But of course, it's going to set some alarm bells ringing. And I think there has, some people would say, been what appears to be, some would say, a deterioration in her health, certainly in her mobility and her ability to get around. And also I think what we've been seeing, and this certainly was the case yesterday, is that there is definitely now more of this common sense approach within the palace, within the family, that actually we now all need to just get used to the fact that there are some things that she is just not going to be able to do. And for me, why that is interesting is because certainly over the last 5 years ago, it was difficult to talk about transition. It was difficult to talk about a change or a handing over. Now, I think we just have to get used to it. And certainly you talk to constitutional experts, for example, and they would have said, actually, yesterday she didn't necessarily have to do that handover of power between the prime ministers. We saw that actually it was the Prince of Wales and the Duke of Cambridge who stepped in for her as Councillors of State when it came to the state opening of Parliament. Again, those mechanisms could have been put in place. But I think what you have got is you've got a 96-year-old monarch who, in her mind, has no intention of resigning, stepping down, as it were. And when she can do those duties, she wants to do them. However, I think like anyone who's in their 90s, in their family, they will realise that when they do things like yesterday, and despite the fact that it was still at Balmoral, it probably did, as we're now seeing, took it out of her. And things do take longer to recover from. And that ultimately is what we're seeing. We saw it over the Platinum Jubilee weekend. On the Thursday, we saw her on the balcony. We saw her lighting beacons. Friday and Saturday, she had to rest, and it was up to other members of the family to step in.